What's your name?
George Bishop.
George? Alan. Nice to meet you. Alan?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
I thought I could get through with avoiding this thing, but I thought I could get through this with avoiding this thing.
Right? It's my first time on the stream too, so I'm like,
yeah.
Okay.
It's been walking past it. I'm not doing it.
And it has a microphone, so I'm what?
How you guys doing?
Good.
All right.
A few things while we're getting set up. I've adjusted completely to his map, so if you stay in the same width areas of his map,
okay,
it'll be great.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. This microphone is live. They pick up your words very clearly. So don't say anything you don't want people to hear. Pretty simple. But also on that note, after an honor loss or an honor game, if you would state your ending result total out loud, like game 3 to go to 10, it'll be awesome. So we can update it on the screen.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
Good luck, guys.
Thank you. Yeah.
Trying to get it out of my system. Normally I'm very loquacious. Just trying to mercenary the crap out of this tournament.
Do my best.
We drove here and had a car blow up on the way, so now I'm out a $15,000 car run.
I'm actually just going to sled it.
Where are you coming from?
New Mexico. And it blew up somewhere in Missouri, in a little town in Missouri. So now I'm like, and you know, insurance doesn't cover mechanical failure, so now I'm like, what's the highest bounty? I'll take it. I don't care. I need the things. I'll make it work in my brain. And right now it's like stealing the power of your Tomo, and I'm like, I can make it work in my brain. Because I'll pick a Mantis guy, and I'll be like, look, what Mantis would not want the power of the god? Like, just be like,
you're greedy bastards.
He ascended to godhood status through wheeling and dealing. Like, look, what you got, I want. So I'll pick a very ambitious Mantis and be like, nah, you got to godhood status once, you can do it again. I'll take yours now, though. Open the scroll thing. What are scrolls? Okay, let me open it.
Oh no! I hit the sleep button.
Huh? What's the worst that could happen? I could die, but you know, the poets will write stories about me. Oh yeah,
It probably is. I think it's just... Sorry. That's not a
This
surprise, so
environment's
there'll be a
been
warning.
really a lot of fun. Like, I've been impressed. Every single game that I've had, like normally there's, like a steamroller deck, like Kalima or something like that you can just be like, oh my god, like shit's just been rolling over. But to like all day today, all day yesterday, it's been like close games, like decisions.
Attention Alpha Bar, if you have a Siege Clan War event ticket for the 11 a.m. Siege, please come forward. We're also still taking sign-ups for the 20 Festival Arc Yuri Tomo 20th Anniversary Playmat, also for the job.
You want the Mantis one? Absolutely.
We'll be getting going in just about 2 minutes, guys. I will have the official round time. If you guys need it, come and grab me. I can take care of it.
Okay, guys, welcome back. We've got a special guest in the booth with me. I've got Chris Medico, who is both a well-known Mantis player and part of the design team now.
Hello, everyone.
We're going to be commentating on the semi-final match here between George Bishop playing Phoenix and I6 Cynova playing Mantis. I understand that I6 deck is very interesting.
Carry the dice bag
it's
with
not
me
the,
'cause it's brilliant,
it's not the
but,
exact
like,
standard
this is all I
Shikai Mantis deck that we're used to.
Yeah, it's
There was one company like 5 years ago that came with these, and it's so it stands on its own because of the formation, and it's got a light interior so that you can like see what dice you want to grab. The guy was explaining it to me here at Gencon, and I was like, oh my god, that's brilliant. And it was like a $15 dice bag, so it's expensive, but I was like, okay, you know, I'm at Gencon, I'll get it. That company's gone. Like,
Attention all of our players in the top 4 of the pods. You may begin.
good luck. Good luck.
Don't choke first.
So, we need an emergency room.
Okay.
That's just that.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get this a little louder for you guys.
Can I read here, Sensei?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks.
Have volume issues with that headset. That's what I'm understanding. They can't fit your medical over the crowd. They can. I can't.
Oh, that's kind of cool. I think I saw Mantis and read it had -1 province strength, and I was like, done with this thing.
Isaac's taking a look at
Says the
Hero
guy playing
Sensei right
Sheikah.
now.
Says the guy playing Sheikah.
Observing it.
Okay, all
It's
right.
the event Sensei, so we'll see.
Do you have an open?
Yo.
Yeah, like I said, it's the event Sensei, so up to 6 times per game you can resolve events. And then when you resolve an event out of a province, you can refill it face up.
As you can see, George is running Absolution in his deck. He does not want to run into a specific event. The new order is really bad against it, especially against the bigger military decks where they haven't been able to deal with it early.
That's a
Well
start
then,
from Isaac.
Hello.
It'd be like that.
It's like that, and like this, and like that, and
That's one of the strengths of the Sheikah deck. You can afford to easily run Coastal Lane because you're getting so much extra cycle
per game
out of
gold?
the Sensei that the extra 6 cards in your deck blow through relatively quickly, and the explosiveness of being able to buy 8 gold worth of holdings on turn 1 like Isaac just did means all those giant attachments that I was talking about are going to be a lot easier for him to buy.
you guys need little shoulder caps so that you can see fake ones.
Resolve the event.
Or like like little clear glass,
We have,
like
Samurai Case divides on George's side. You can fetch.
his fate hand is filled with progressive. That means he has at least 2 copies of that stupid discard card that I hate that has 3 focus value, even though one of its printings has 2 in his fate hand.
Isaac is speaking, of course, of Path of Wisdom. Yep.
He will send you home all game. You will be at the house, you will stay there, you will like it.
And George's name.
Open. Flip.
Did you resolve it? Sorry?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I went. That's why you cut.
Do you need cards from your or events from your discard back in your dynasty? I was just wondering if you could leave it in play, because otherwise I'll forget about it.
Oh, it resolves and goes away.
Oh, does it? Okay.
I just go to get progressive.
Oh,
And then
sorry.
there's no ongoing
For
effect.
whatever reason, I thought it was the karmic one or something.
Oh, no.
I'm done. All right, continue. Just kidding. This is when you act dumb because you're on a stream.
And George,
It's all right, Isaac. Still love you.
It's always my fears.
so
Right?
so George is running the full amount of events that he can with the Sensei. 6 is the max, and that's exactly what he's running.
I think 2.
Yeah, technically you can run more, but you can only resolve 6. So you never really want to run yourself into a situation where you flip them all and get some dead dynasty draws.
Your turn.
Can I ask what's underneath your strong?
Oh, the favor?
Okay. Gotcha.
And it is not in play, right? You
No.
Okay.
So let's see what Isaac can do with all that gold that he's got.
9, eh? Open. Sorry, pass my first limiter.
Yeah. Lay down progressive.
Pass.
We kind of saw that coming.
Attention
Loading
all our players.
Shika Sensei.
10 minutes left to sign up for the Siege Clan War at 11 a.m. Also, if you have not picked up your event kit, please come forward.
One of the
With the
only
2 floating?
additions that the deck got on the Dynasty side, personality-wise.
And
It's a kind of a toss-up between whether you want to run it or not, because she's not actually a scout. And the Sheikah deck has a definite limit of how many non-scouts you can run. So you're kind of forced into a position where you have to make some hard choices, because the Mets personality base is relatively good for their
Don't you have to show
non-keyboard
it?
personality.
Yeah,
do I? I don't know.
it is tough trying to find those other slots.
Fortunately, when you're running 46 cards, it makes it a little easier to find room. But,
we can push a few more in there. It makes it a little easier.
Isaac clearly wanted to get a little bit more of gold development on this turn, so instead of trying to clear out as many personalities he got, he went and fetched the Forgotten Legacy to get some.
You're progressive. Shut up. Sorry, I need to maths real quick.
You'll see very frequently the Sheikah deck will often just leave a scout in province because it's not really punishing you for a bad flip. The other ones we can always get the extra flip by buying the scout. So, especially someone like Sasa, who's such a cheap personality with Naval.
Yep.
Attention, Kevin Kim. If you are in the room, please come forward. Kevin Kim.
Hank pin?
Favor?
Absolutely.
Open.
Pass. Your problem strength is 5, son?
Yes.
Okay.
It's one of the drawbacks of running Hera. It does make you a little more vulnerable to military. 6 is kind of low, but 5 is really.
5 is Imperial style low.
Yep. Yeah, especially with what George is flipping right now. I think he really kind of needs to see a Shugenja soon, so he can get that aspect of his deck working. So hopefully the Forgotten Legacy or the famous Bizarre.
That is a card.
So on the next turn, I kind of expect Isaac, if he's got a decent range attack follower in his hand, to slap it on his naval personality and see if he can go at him.
Yeah. I mean, he's not running that many spells in this version of the deck. 6, 5, 7. He's running 8 spells. I think
3
about,
11.
usually I see about that number, 8 to 9, somewhere in that that number.
Yeah, the big one is Mark of the Heaven's Favor.
Yeah.
Because that's what really accelerates their honor gains. So obviously you want that as early in the game as possible, because if the game's only going 5 turns and you get it on turn 3, it's only a 2 honor gain spell, really.
Yep.
So in this circumstance,
Draw for turn. Go ahead.
Cards in hand?
it's looking like George is a little behind here.
Thank you.
See, you get him and the reserve guy mixed up.
Word. Mathing again real quick. Apologies. Drawing a card?
Sure.
Stronghold?
Pass.
Floating one?
Sensei's -1 starting honor, isn't it? I'm almost certain. I think it's -1, -1.
So we got a Sun Tzu Usai and a mounted supports
Pass.
onto Yortali Kua. So that is a nice naval unit there.
No defense rating.
Nice naval conqueror unit.
Yeah.
I'll pass engage.
I'll pass engage.
Progressive with the big unit.
The big unit. Big unit goes. I'll range for your province.
Okay. Pass.
Play the Mantis.
And that is the strength of Akira. She gives you a little more utility
5 gold.
in those
So I'll do
circumstances.
Sasada with
normally
Shika
the low
Sensei.
force of Mantis personalities would be a detriment.
Temple of Destiny.
She can act as if she's 4 force.
Yeah, it's super good.
Card for end of turn. All you.
And he's got that way of the Mantis sitting there.
To discipline out when he needs it, yeah.
And George is only running 2 victory through deference, so that's going to be. I say deck lists are usually 2 to 3 copies.
Yep.
So
On the plus side for George, it did look like he finally flipped a Shigenja. And if he's going to flip a Shigenja, Keisei is the ideal one.
What's your honor
For
at?
personal honor.
11.
11. Thank you.
Attention all of our players, if you would like to enter the 11 a.m. draft, please come forward in the next 5 minutes. The 11 a.m. draft in the next 5 minutes.
And just so you know, guys, he did confirm he is at 11 honor. Yeah, I agree with FAF in the chat there. I think George's defense there was attempting to work out
Gain one,
some
which-
of
No, you
Isaac's
can- any of them.
Sentinel
Just pick
negation
them up.
like accessible.
Gain 1 to 12.
And because he was able to use a card that normally doesn't have much utility in the matchup, like Way of the Mantis to take it instead, that's going to set him up for some good attacks later on.
Reels.
Absolutely.
Go 14 years.
Pass.
Pass. Dynasty.
Okay. 6,
12.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 7 and 5.
Both. Claim him. Gain 1 from the stronghold for him.
Okay.
Go to 19.
You gain 1 from the stronghold, even if that's not the guy you're proclaiming. Gain 1 honor. Yep. Cool.
Destined.
Okay.
19. Pitch. And draw for turn.
Sure. My turn?
Yes.
Attention all of our players, this is last call for event tickets for the 11 a.m. Siege. If you do not have that, we are opening it up to the waiting list in 1 minute.
Bunny, he is using 3 Samurai Case Divides and 3 Blessings.
Legion of the Khan.
It, going down to 5 starting province strength is definitely, it definitely does hurt, but it seems to have been working for George so far today. I mean, he is in the top 4. So I think that additional cycle, more cards being able to be seen, that's probably where the benefit of Hero really comes in for him.
Attention all of our players, if you are interested in the draft and you do not have the generic tickets, we do have a sponsor for you. If you are interested in being sponsored into the 11 a.m. draft, please come forward.
cycle at Coronation Festival as you is what a lot of the other Phoenix decks have been going towards instead of Hero. Unfortunately, that and the other two events from Thunder's Flame don't work with Hero Sensei because of the 6 event resolution limit. So it's a give and take. There's the mark.
Using on the Kabuki, increase the honor game by 1.
Yeah,
Do you have to buy the Shigenja to cast that spell?
No, just
Okay.
it removes
in
itself.
Isaac's decks compared to a lot of the Sheikah Mantis decks you see is he is only running 1 Yorkshire Nature, which normally in this matchup is bullseye targeted towards those marks. So he didn't have one to stop that on hand. But the position he's in, it seems like it might not matter for Isaac. He can probably pressure here, especially swinging for 2 like he is.
You have Way of the Menace.
I do.
Looks like we've got a Sasada with a Naval Legion of the Khan potential at 1 province, along with Akira, and then the other scouts with mounted support and Sons of Masai for again range attack.
Do you have anybody with cavalry?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry guys, my mic's a little bit on the lower side, so I'm trying to talk as loud as I can. I'd rather not scream at you guys, but I will if necessary.
They're reading Way of the Menace. Spend 3 on that.
All 3 here? We'll do this one first.
Okay.
You're first engage?
Pass engage.
Naval?
Yep.
Range 3. I mean, they're both destined. Atoma.
Isaac choosing to take out the
Your
one
action.
courtier that he had on the board. There isn't as much in-battle stuff that requires specific traits in the deck. I know a lot of the general Shigenja spells, Inexplicable is probably the one thing that he was trying to play around there.
Turn tank Kintaro.
How much force is it?
5.
Another thing to note on Isaac's list now that Kintaro is at 5 force, he does not have any unholy strikes to bump his range attacks to hit that target. He does have an overwhelming offense to knock him down, and courage beyond question to
Attention Alpha Bar players, we are on the wait list for the 11 a.m. draft. Please come forward. 11 a.m. Siege
21.
Clan War event. Please come forward. Siege Clan War.
I'll shoot the province.
Okay.
Do you mind if I mark it so that I remember?
Cards in hand?
7, sir.
Oh, man.
Yes, George was marking about Mantis' card draw while he has 2 destined personalities in play.
You're 6 force.
I am 6 force currently showing. -5?
And again, there's the overwhelming offense.
this unit?
He's on that unit.
I will allow him to go. Ring it back.
Two to one.
2 to 1 province strength.
2 force, 1 province strength, and unfortunately for George, he has 2 0 force personalities.
Pass.
Actually, Bunny, it
To
does
be
not,
clear,
because
just
of
because
Sheikah
I've had this happen to me too many
Sensei's -1
times.
starting honor,
If I pass, I
half
take
of
your
the one
province and
is
kill your
0.
TV.
It's 2 to 1 force.
That is my understanding of this battle.
You have 1 force coming in.
Plus 3.
Oh, he's -5. I'm sorry. I was
minus
thinking he had
5.
1 force. Thank you for clarifying.
That is-
I,
See? Okay. All right. Anyway,
Yeah, the honor
that was
loss is
actually for
rounded
your
down.
benefit too.
That was, I
So
appreciate
half of,
that.
Yeah.
1 is 1/2 rounded down to 0, so you don't lose any honor.
That's why we like playing low honor clans.
It's one of the
Married?
plus 4 to province.
So George has played a copy of Bridging the Gap. It's a reprinted terrain in 20 festivals that gives the province strength plus 4 province strength.
That is a good start.
An interesting difference here is if Isaac had used the ability of Way of the Mantis from his discard pile instead of the Ring of Air, he could have used the range attack off of Kirigan to shoot it back down.
Attention alpha bar players in the 11 a.m.
To
draft.
do it without expending extra cards.
Please follow Gabe. He has a piece of paper and the deck in his hand. He will lead you directly to where you'll be sitting.
Play accessible. Destroy your terrain.
And I kind of saw this line of play after the terrain dropped. He really wants to take this province, wipe his army, and try to put this game under lock.
Yep.
4. So
Wow, the second copy of Bridging.
at this point, you are still 0 force to my more.
Yes.
I will pass.
I'll pass. Gain 4.
Okay. Woo! Over here.
Alright, so now we go back to the strength of the Phoenix deck. George
Pass the gauge.
kind of wanted
Pass
at least a
engage.
couple of his guys to die there. I don't know if he has the wheels in his hand to do it himself, but being able to bring back the 4 personal honor Destined Case is one of the
Famous.
benefits of this
Floating
Phoenix
2.
deck.
Famous. Floating 1. Well, not floating, but drawing a card.
Solve the event.
Absolutely.
George is also using this to sort of refill his hand, even though it is more copies of Progressive. Progressive is karmic, so he can just cycle it for another card. He also has it to use with Progressive to send units home.
And it is 4 focus value too, so
Yeah.
it goes a long way towards hitting those larger units that Isaac has.
No.
You're open.
Pass.
Flip with here.
Yep.
And actually,
Pass.
looking through the deck list a little further, I did mention that there were no unholy strikes in the deck, but it
Okay.
doesn't actually have
Pass.
unwanted tutelage to
So
increase his
you're
range attacks.
23.
That is similar to unholy strike in the +2, but it's got a straighten instead of the ability to use the melee attack itself, which in some matchups comes in handy, but in other ones like this where he's got a lot of 2 or lower force personalities, in some circumstances he might want to just have a range attack from his hand. But
Honor?
it hasn't come up here, but perhaps in the second game it might.
Spend 12, gain 5,
23.
28.
Okay.
Destin.
12. Yep. Okay. Cards in hand. After the draw.
After the draw, I'll have 6.
6.
Since he had no personalities there, he couldn't lobby for the favor, so he's just not going to have that trick up his sleeve this attack phase.
Correct. Which is good for Isaac because he had to use the accessible there to blow up the other terrain and didn't even get a chance to use it for movement.
Yeah.
So
My honor?
he does have 2 of them in his deck though, so perhaps he might draw another later.
Stronghold?
Speaking of the
And
devil.
this, I think he was wanting to draw that card, just willing that one to the top.
Yeah.
Pass.
Holy stacks, Batman.
He's,
Double.
that's one way to get around progressive,
What?
is if
What?
he gets high enough
Double
force on it
combo.
that he can't send it home with the presence list.
Euro pass.
Yeah, the follower that he's using is mounted support, which is a rare from reprint that was in 20 festivals.
Is Way Manus out of game?
Huh?
Is Way Manus out of
Currently an
game?
11
No, it
force
is not.
unit.
I did not use it a second time.
How many cards do you own?
5, sir.
You use your stronghold.
I did use my stronghold to draw a card.
Okay. Pass.
Attacking like so. I'm just going to put that down.
Alright, so we'll see if this split works a little better than the last one did.
The biggest issue with that I see with this split is Yakua is a stacked personality, but only has 1 kill action with Sons of Gusai, while
And I was playing
the
my top
other
eight game
unit
over
with
there, and
Akira
right
and
underneath
Legion
the
of
fan,
Khan has
I'm
2 kill
freezing
actions.
still.
So
Like residual.
if
freezing.
I were George in this spot, if you wanted to try to stop one, you probably want to stop the large unit with the fewest kill actions.
Correct.
Do you have reserve?
And especially
I do not
with
have
the way
any
the man
reserve
is
in
sitting
my
there,
provinces
Yeah.
at this time.
that can threaten to straighten Akira to use that range attack again.
That's exactly what George does.
We will do that one first, sir.
Pass engage.
Naval engage.
Pass. Kill. Sun's Brow.
Let's see what George has.
Usurpation. Gain
Yep.
2.
Send
He goes home?
That also
Yes.
gains him 2.
And I get to go to 30.
That is Usurpation.
At this one? Sorry, I have no other actions at this one. If you do, take
no,
it by all
no.
means. Okay. Over here. Engage.
I'll pass engage.
I'll pass engage as well. Your first battle action.
George is contemplating whether to use progressive or which cards to discard for it to try to make Isaac waste more cards.
He also does to determine which unit he wants to send home. Because Akira is technically threatening, and with what Isaac has with the way the Mantis and everything, it might just not be worth it to expend the extra
Cards in hand.
Absolutely, yeah.
5.
Attention up of our players. If you have an event ticket for the 12 p.m. Siege Clan War event, please come forward.
This is the top 4 of the main event. So the winner of this will have a chance in the finals against his opponent to get the 13th black scroll and use it on a target of his choice. Or choose to not
I
use
am
it.
A-okay with you not have seen him earlier.
And like I said, George thought better of expending extra cards to try and save that province, so he just let it go.
And the personality that he that ended up getting discarded is a new one from Thunder's Acclaim. Asako Kusaki. He's the one that can't be melee or ranged attacked.
Yep.
That's kind of an important one for this matchup so that he can properly defend. He's only running 2 copies, so one of them is now in the discard pile.
Yep. That was a good hit for Isaac because that gives
And
a lot of extra defensive capabilities.
No? Okay. Just checking.
And unfortunately for George, he flipped 2 holdings.
May I look at your discard pile? Do you mind?
Spade?
Yeah. Just, honestly, just for curiosity.
I think Isaac is taking notes for round 2 is why he's looking through there.
Values are so high.
Yes, because I don't see actually any victory through deference listed.
Like you know you play
on his
progressive
deck
or
list,
something.
So he has no way to mess with George's discard pile.
And you actually remember to do it. Unlike my friend Steven.
That actually can come in handy a lot of times versus Phoenix if they only have one dead guy.
Yeah, no, it's great.
You can VTD
And
to get rid of it.
it's
and
really
chance
good
for
to
it
like
back.
save your provinces
And,
with
can
it
send
and
them
not
back
just have it
significantly.
sitting there on your board looking pretty. Like,
Alright, I'll gain 2.
absolutely. I expect nothing less, sir. Nothing less. You remember that.
32.
That is where we were at. That is the life we're living right now. 32. Can I pay 1 gold to win the game? Is that an available open option?
Unfortunately for Isaac, it is
I-
not.
but I have a
Mantis will probably
player
have the
ability.
advantage in that market
It's
if it
a
was.
personal thing.
But on design, we
I
try
can
to
pay 1
prevent
gold
things
to win
like
the game with no
pay 1 gold
problem,
in the game.
Judge.
Very lighthearted conversation in the top 4 match at Worlds.
It's a player agreement.
I'll drop down once you have any.
I'm being an asshole.
Yeah. This slip is really unfortunate for George because if he had gotten, say, another K-Say or anything like that, he could have had a little bit more of defense on his end.
Say a Mantis
now,
player ability.
his
It's in the
dynasty
back
over
of the
here.
Dark Internet rulebook.
Still going to get a K-Say.
Yep, and it's 400 plus the 1, so.
Okay.
Destin.
Oh.
You got a lot of Destiny stuff, sir. I don't know if I appreciate that.
Sure you don't.
So the
Much
danger
as I
on Isaac's
appreciate
neck
your
attack is with George as close as he is to 40.
Oh, fair.
Give him the potential to
drop
cross
return.
mid-battle.
Absolutely.
And if he can prevent one of the 2 provinces that I'm assuming Isaac is going to attack from
5,
falling,
between the
he'll just
30s.
win right on the spot. So Isaac has to be careful here, but with the amount of personalities and attachments he has,
Turn.
he should be in
Your
okay
turn.
state still. But George does have a lot of.
I just like to make sure. Okay. For my first trick, a backflip. You would have been good earlier, and so would have you. Probably you. Maybe.
Unfortunately for Isaac, all I see currently in his hands are red cards.
Yep.
I don't see any I don't see any attachments.
Yep.
Would have made this a lot easier.
Accepting a choice.
And George is searching out something with accepting the choice. So if he didn't already have his chance at getting 40 on it this turn, he's certainly going to find it.
So you only like hard to throw it, go over like 4 rows, and like him and Argyle and leave them like the backside.
see that he discarded one of his inexplicables. It's like you said, Isaac was trying to play around earlier by killing his only courtier, and it's been stuck in his hand since then.
Your action?
He's actually had that accepting a choice for a couple of turns, but I think he was doing a good job trying to set up to make sure this last this last attempt at an attack from Isaac made sure he crossed.
Married?
Sure. So he played awards of consecration, which when he plays that, attaches that to an air Shugenja, he can target a player to gain or lose 1 honor. And then, and there's the one of your true nature right there.
Yep.
Pass.
I will pass my limited.
So Isaac is
Swing it.
splitting.
From the chambers of my heart is crashed by a form of love. Can you help me find a way?
So apparently I'm not the only mantis working for Master Coin.
Range 4, what's his battle action?
Nothing. He is blank.
He's gold.
He is standing past fire, secret death.
Yeah. He straightens range 3.
Yep. Yep, yep, yep. Yep, 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 yep. Yep, 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 yep.
Yeah, that accessible might be key here. Only problem is George has drawn a lot of cards, so he may have either drawn a screen to get rid of it or fetched one with accepting the choice if he already had the honor gains in his hand.
Here?
Yep. How many cards do you have?
6, sir. Cards in hand?
6.
Okay.
I do not see it. I do not see bridging the gap in his hand.
Yep.
Dubstep things.
Yeah, passing.
Naval engage. Sighting, right? Sons of Gusak.
Okay.
Crunchy, crunchy.
Oh, okay.
Your action, sir.
Usurpation after big. Go to 40.
Absolutely. He goes.
Here's
Range 4.
on him. Pass.
Accessible.
Game 2.
Game 2.
Game 2. I'd be curious to see what he ended up grabbing with the accepting the choice.
Well, I think the problem was where's it at? Oh, he was running 3 bridges, so that's a surprise. He may have went for the usurpation because I think he didn't have another honor gain in his hand that he could use. My guess is he was trying to cross there and figured, okay, if I could send him home,
Military card, son.
then I'm done. But
Got it?
Alright, so
One.
just to note, this
Good
is
one.
best 2 out of 3. So we got another
I'll take
game
all
of
the
this
high
at least. Yes, Angashi, Mantis is up 1 game.
Just playing it like it's for money, man. Just playing it like it's for money.
Sort of
Win,
is.
take
Sort
a,
of is.
That's all it is. If I can win, take a bounty,
Yes, Shotgun is best 2 out of 3.
get 1/15 of my card level. Whee!
So we'll see if game 2 goes a little bit better for George. Like I said, him not getting a Shigenja on the first couple turns kind of hurt. And also him not seeing any personalities on that flip when he was down to 2 provinces. Because obviously Mantis are going to attrition you down anytime you choose to defend. And while the Phoenix Stronghold can help negate that, when you're only buying a guy out of there, it can leave you with some problems.
I had been proposing after the format started to shift to standing fast that we go to bigger attachments. We really hadn't seen that out of a lot of Mantis players. They'd been trying to run Legion of the Con a little bit, but they really hadn't been pushing it any further than that.
Yep, a lot of the Mantis players were experimenting with the different like Air and I builds, sometimes using Kobe, taking advantage of those to use the larger attachments. Shiku was kind of more on the lower end swarm build, so it was rewarding you for playing a lot of cheap followers that can give naval to a whole bunch of naval kill actions, to a bunch of your normally cheap blank scout personalities. So this direction, in a field full of standing fast, it makes a lot more sense to have larger attachments to fight back, because especially when you're running only one Yorkshire nature, they're going to be able to set it up a lot easier. So the best way to fight back is to have larger units of your own.
The other thing I saw a lot this weekend is a lot of players tried to switch back to weapon builds and using Tanfujitsu to be able to deal with the standing fast decks because they've gone to larger attachments.
Winner goes
And
first, right?
it's nice to be able to bow a blank weapon to destroy a 8, 9, 10,
Thought we were
11
playing
gold
steamroll games.
follower.
Yep.
That's a huge swing in their favor. I also have a report from the floor. Jim Chen, Dragon, takes game 1 from James Matthews. Jim flipped a
people. Get on it.
flipped a turn 2 new order, but James made the most out of his game.
Get that money.
Unfortunately, James scooped with 1 province left and 43 honor. So
Looks like we're in game 2 in both matches now. George started with an awkward flip, but was able to dynasty cycle into 2 holders, including an honored guest.
Again. Swing from the chambers.
But unfortunately for him, he flipped an event off of his famous bazaar. Wow. Isaac with another turn 1 coastal lane.
Should read my cards first.
it's like, do I want to blitz turn 3? What's the idea here? And that's a good call. You might want to look at Fate Hand.
Yeah.
Carry on again. Hey man, I get Conqueror for free. I got quadruple
It is very important
on 1 unit.
It is huge here.
Yeah, one of the only times I've had that be relevant was I was playing against a Phoenix Kobe Sensei deck that they were trying to
Like
out
take
my
an open to
guys.
prevent that?
So having a random conqueror on my personalities was actually helpful, so I could
I
still
know how to
attack.
play this game.
Right?
I gotta. No, I'm gonna
There are some
No.
more military
You have
Phoenix
too many
builds out there
opens
that
on my
comes
first
in
turn.
handy,
You only
but
get 1.
He's really in the deck to be a cheap body and get conqueror versus military opponents.
I get to go get 1 too, right? These are events.
Go get your progressive.
I get to go get my progressive. What?
That's it for me.
Fruit 2. Shit. Oh well. Darn. Darn.
Only 10. Can you
Only
live with
10.
that? Can you live with
Slightly
that?
subpar gold. I'm so upset. Judge. Help.
Yep.
Isaac's having a lot of
I showed
fun.
myself 1 gold, Judge. Help.
Yeah. It's the eternal Mantis conundrum of how much gold do I
Token.
buy?
Gone. Once per game gold gone.
It's just rubbing it in.
Oh, I'm such a bad player. Whatever. Could have seen more dynasty cards. 1 more dynasty card.
Yep. Isaac talking
I would
over
play
about the decision between buying the Coastal Lane versus buying
Can I
the
read
Only
Progressive?
Dojo and the Kabune port. He would be able to see one more Dynasty card next turn if he had
Enemy
the other
unit.
way, but the potential of being able to only buy one of the Goldlings and pitch
Okay,
the other,
I'm not gonna lie.
I believe is why he
That
did
might
it.
actually be a
Yeah.
good card for me to run. For whatever bullshit's in my hand, just like, oh, turn this in home.
I don't know why more military decks aren't.
Because we all think it's like the favor, that it'll only send home attacking people.
Well, and that's the
secret
thing.
attack. Ugh.
Progressive was actually
yeah,
used
military
during
decks,
a strict format,
Mantis,
if
I
I'm
just
not
throw
mistaken.
cards
Some of the
in.
builds was running that as well as ideological differences.
I'll pass opens.
Nothing. The blessing or the curse.
So George is trying to figure out exactly what he wants to buy here, what he wants to leave up.
So 10.
Yep. Going for the Shigenja.
Since he didn't have one last game early, that was huge.
Yep. I think the debate was if he had bought Kintaro. I believe Kintaro cost 6, correct? So he would have been able to buy the Kabuki, or cheaper than his 5. So he would have been able to buy the holding along with a personality.
Yep.
But I think he may have a mark in his hand or something to hit that Honored Sensei.
Pass my limited?
Consecrate.
Yep.
Whatever.
Pass.
Or to gain the extra point of honor by using Keisei's ability. Every point counts.
Yes, it does.
Yes, George's flips in the early game of both games has not really been optimal. And right now he hasn't been able to take advantage of the fact he got that honored Sensei in the first turn because he hasn't flipped any unaligned personalities yet. So George's deck is not cooperating.
Yeah, I mean he's running the base 6 unaligned personalities. Both the Atomos that have been being run.
Yep. Teramudo and Demiya.
Teramoto being the new one of the group, and there is a mark of the on his favor.
I'll pass.
Okay.
9.
Yeah, Isaac's turn 2 wasn't the greatest, but he did end it with a lot of gold and a naval 4-force personality in play, which is a situation I'm sure he'll take a lot of the time.
Drop it. Turn. You card.
But Machito is definitely one of the more awkward personalities in his deck, both being 8 gold and also not being a scout. So that goes back to what we were talking about earlier, where you have limited slots for non-scout personalities, so you got to make them count.
Yep. And he's one of the bigger cost guys, and matter of fact, he's probably the biggest cost guy in the deck, actually.
Correct.
400.
He's got Taito, who's 7 gold,
Yep.
and Gosho, who's also 7 gold. But
Yep.
it's another one of the ways to work around a little bit all the standing fast that's around is
One of those
running
was the extra card that I
a
would have
larger
flipped
suite
up
of personalities.
because
Yep, and Isaac
doing my dynasty correctly.
pointing out
would be
his own
really mad
mistake
at
in
myself,
hindsight
but I'll
of
never
not
know.
buying the
'Cause
2
I'm not that
holdings
good at
instead of the
checking
Ghost of
cards.
Lane, because he would have flipped one of the
you're playing for money.
Yakuas last turn to be able to buy.
Money.
But again, hindsight
I want
2020.
to. Oh, I want to.
Don't have perfect information when you're making those type of choices.
Fake card.
Mark on the Kabuki.
Fair enough. The Mounties.
Yeah, Neff, I
have
agree.
8 from Canada.
Normally you'll see Saruchi Kaito in that slot.
My friends do not.
Sometimes you'll see some out-of-clan guys like Shiho, who's not a scout, but he's a ninja, so he still works with a box. So it's definitely a different build of
I'll pass.
the Sheikah deck that we've seen. that he seems to be taking advantage of the unfamiliarity with a lot of players with his build of the Chico.
So Isaac is going after this province, even though, oh yeah, he does have 6 force. It's a 5 province strength. You forget that about Hero Sensei dropping that to 5.
Yeah, and he's actually at 7 too.
Oh yeah, that is a 3. Yeah, it's a 3/5. Sorry,
Yeah,
3 for 5. He's got Naval Centone. So
yes,
Going?
fortunately does bow him
Yeah,
to
that's
it.
right. Bow.
my guess is,
There.
I was going to say, my guess is Isaac had a plan for that.
Yep.
So now George either has to waste cards out of his hand.
You know I have all your albums.
Does Isaac have any move in other than accessible?
He's got Brazen to stop. He's got, no, it doesn't actually have Earth to stop it, so it's just running the 2 Brazens in that slot. He does have a one of open ground, which if he was able to put there, if he had other presence, he could move back in. Oh, he does have Earth, okay. It was hidden with the other stuff. So he has a suite of 3 movement negation cards and a bunch of...
And there's the Brazen.
Yep.
After the progressive use.
Conqueror. What?
And again, the strength of Conquerors versus an Honor deck.
Scout.
And that Sons of Gusai looks like a good draw for him as well. Gives him a potential second naval, so he can start splitting if he chooses to do so. Looks like George does have a good amount of pure intents in his hand, so if he ever gets to stick in battle, he has a lot of honor gains in his hand.
16.
Okay.
Your action.
Pass him out. I don't even have my 1 gold to win the game this turn.
Damn it.
Actually, amusingly enough, one of the benefits of Ichido in this matchup is if that was, for instance, a Taito with a range attack, he would be able to buy back Keisei, draw back another card off of the Destined, and keep that end running. As of right now, unless he draws a Wheels and Wheels, he's not getting his opponent's aid and actually giving him the dead guys to bring back with the box. So, oddly enough, the fact that Ichido doesn't have a kill action is actually coming in handy.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Your turn.
Honors at 21.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, it was Rhetorician. Was the whole thing that you were asking about.
First limited.
Yep.
You're open.
So Isaac is trying to count his gold here, see what he's got.
Yep.
Eight.
Legion.
Dustin.
Yep. And that is a big one because that's 6 force unit with a kill action now. That's a big downside to Hero when it's that easy to get province crunching force.
Oh yeah, it's huge.
Correct, Neff. It's definitely a
Attention
plus to be able to send home their
if
big
you
stacked
have
standing
a
fast
ticket
units.
for the 12
So again, a clear
PM
meta call that
Clan
Isaac
War,
made that's
please
paid off
come
for him.
forward. If you'd like to
Unfortunately, George
participate
had a
in the
victory
20
through
festivals
deference,
are
and
constructed or the 20
so
festivals
his
the
reason
Thunder
is
Flame draft, the
been
winner getting the
removed.
Yoritomo 20th anniversary playmat.
But George
Please
only
come
has
forward
2
and sign up.
copies of victory, so
Oh, it's fake card?
it probably says non-ring fake cards.
Yes, non-ring.
Another guy.
Not big in.
Not that that's kind of irrelevant
So
there,
much
except
that
for the
brings the
ring
guy back,
just
you have
can't be
no
targeted
idea.
by it because
Yeah.
Isaac doesn't have a way to get it back.
Yeah. In this matchup, it's relevant, but keep in mind we did have an Enlightenment deck that made a pretty deep run in this tournament. So
I'll pass the color.
I'll pass as well. Group up. Team up. Team up.
I didn't catch what he removed with the victory. It
'Cause
may
you
have
didn't
either been
cassette
naval
problems,
or his
right?
naval action.
Okay.
So hence the grouping up there where I know he probably wanted to split this turn.
Yeah, he did with George. It's
You're
under
engaged.
21. He can't really afford to bounce more than once.
Yep.
If you
I'll be going
bounce the second time, it's usually game.
Homebound, please.
So more than likely he removed a range 3.
Well, he has to target the
Oh, his personality? Oh, okay.
So
well,
he would probably remove the naval from Yukua.
Yukua,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, and it looks like Chad may have heard that as well. So thank you guys.
Range 3 then. Okay.
I'm thinking of New Alliance,
Yeah.
which I don't see in either deck list actually.
Yep.
6.
I never
So.
liked it. Turn 10, +4, gain 2.
Yep.
And here we go with the unwanted tutelage to bump the range attack.
Range 3, 4, 5.
He does lose some honor from that, though.
2 honor if I'm
I
not
believe it
mistaken.
is 2. He didn't mark it, but
That's fine.
Sorry?
Here comes.
I've gained 1. Gained 1, lost 2, I'm at 0.
Oh. So you actually gained 1,
That's
so
a 6-14.
it should be 0.
Nice.
Honor
Discarded.
guest and another guest.
He goes. Open ground.
Oh, that is a brutal play from Isaac.
yep.
That is brutal right there.
Yeah, sometimes the one-ups get you. And that is a strong card for him to have in that situation.
Tie down. Scout.
Isaac being very aggressive at pitching. Many of the good players understand when to pitch and when to keep. That's one of the harder things to pick up in the game, especially for new players.
Yep, and especially in this circumstance. It doesn't look like he's in dire need of a new order this game, but any cards closer to it
Sure.
going through, and especially with all the Sheikah flips.
Do I get to get my progressive?
The plus side of New Order being
Wait,
an
I
open
didn't run.
action now is that even if he does flip it with Sheikah in his province during his dynasty phase, as long as George doesn't win on that turn, he can resolve it on George's
Bullshit in
turn.
my hand into like a friend home.
Now George still has a couple of
I mean,
bodies in play.
not that I have bullshit in my hand, because
He's going to be buying one from the dead pile this
Yeah.
turn.
But again, his dynasty doesn't seem to be coordinating because he hasn't seen any of his unaligned guys, so no couriers for the potential
I'm gonna
unexplickables in his
bump
hands.
the table and disqualify
He's seeing an
myself.
honor holding here that's not going to give him any benefit until later in the game. So hopefully
It's a flippy.
his famous can get him anything. 'Cause,
Flippy,
I mean,
flippy.
it could be anything in that province. He's probably hoping it's a guy, but you never know.
Gain 2.
Absolutely.
Yep. Looking over the deck lists, one of the things that I'm noticing, he's actually not running that many personalities. He's only got 18 in his deck. That may be another thing that's hurting him because he's changed his deck for Hero Sensei. He just isn't seeing the bodies that he needs. So he's relying on the Phoenix box to get some back. But if you're not flipping him in your provinces too, you can run into circumstances like this where he just isn't getting enough presence in battle to really stop what Isaac's trying to do.
I think the other thing he may have been attempting at this tournament was he might have been thinking that the Mantis deck isn't where it was, and he can do better against some of the standing fast decks because he'll still have defense.
Yep.
In most cases, so he can usually run those out. Against Mantis, it's very difficult to keep your defense there. Without running some sort of meta like lookout post, etc.
Yep.
And he used his slots completely differently there.
Yep.
Do you still have the favor?
Yes. I never used it.
Okay. All right.
I'll pass.
All right, let's see what it is. On free draw.
Spin the wheel. Oh,
That is a flip.
Gold for it anymore.
Because you had like one of your traits was tail.
Yep. And again, amusingly enough, the guy doesn't stop send home from Machito.
the Cheetahs have become very important in this match, and we. So, Kasai.
Getting 5?
Okay, 5.
But he has left. He's left Kazaki in this province and chose to buy the Kasai for more than one reason. It being destined
Attention, David Lapp, please
for
come to
honor
the front
and an
desk.
additional honor
David
from the
Lapp.
box. I understand.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that George had to go through two famouses to get to that personality, because I'm sure he would have loved to just buy him along with the Keisei, but the way the gold flip, he was unable to.
Oh, hello.
For
That's not
my
a personality
first
I expected to see in this deck. You mentioned him earlier.
Gosho?
Gosho.
Oh, yes. So, from hearing earlier in the tournament, there's an interesting interaction with Gosho and Chica Sensei, where when you reserve him into battle, you can still flip the province face up. So there's potential where he can Gosho into Gosho, which would be pretty good in a lot of circumstances.
Wow!
But yeah, Gosho is another one that's not on the standard Chica list, has a higher gold cost, so he's a little protected from standing fast, and being able to bring 3-force and a kill action in the middle of a battle is very handy in a lot of circumstances.
So George has played accepting the choice, discarding a copy of Path of Wisdom, which he can get back to at the end of the turn.
Yep.
And to search out another card.
Yep. That is one less path that he can use for his progressive though. So.
Oh yes.
Attention LPVR players, we are still taking signups for the 12:30 20th Festival Arc.
Fortunately for Isaac, that is still only a 5-force
and
unit.
the 12 p.m. draft.
Yeah, that's one's a little small.
Yep.
But
he'll have to settle for only having 2 kill actions on it instead. Alright, looks like Isaac's hand is stacked with more followers, and there's the province crushing force we were looking for.
Okay.
Alright. Let's see if the card George fetched is enough to help him in this battle.
Range 3.
Patient him up. Wait and see if there.
So Isaac does have a brazen here. He's probably figuring if he needs to use it here or should save it for another potential action later. There's a lot of kill actions on that Taito that'd be removed if he doesn't use it.
Yeah.
Still getting it.
George is still going to get the 2, though.
I did.
Yep.
Pushing him to 32.
Range 2.
Yep. Unfortunately, the brazen he used earlier was removed with victory through deference, so he had to use the brazen from his hand. Alright, so as it stands, George is getting one more action before his guy's presence removed, so he's trying to figure out how to make it good. He does still have progressive to use after that point, but with 3 units there, it's a tough call on what he needs to do to eliminate all that force.
He goes.
Of course, Isaac cannot stop the favor with brazen because it targets strategy.
Attention off of our
Since
players.
since he's already played that
Please
copy
come
this
to the
turn, the
front
other copy's
desk.
removed from game.
Carlos
He's not
Rentas.
unable to stop it anyway.
Yep.
He will have to rely on something like if he wants to move back in, he'll need to rely on something like accessible.
Yep.
That was an interesting reprint. That didn't get to see a lot of play back in the day, back when it was originally printed.
Yep. I can't quite tell. I don't believe Isaac has any copies of Shrine to Hachiman in play to straighten that follower. 'Cause even if he straightens Taito at the moment, he's still
See
short
what you
on
discarded?
force. So he can Way of the Mantis to straighten Taito, and then he just needs one more point.
Way of the Mantis?
Yeah, I see. I'm
Unwanted
not sure
tutelage?
too.
Straightens a card with a ranged attack.
There we go.
There it is.
Unwanted tutelage. Again, that's where that straighten comes in handy. And we'll see here. Yeah, Isaac just pointed out that he could have Gosho'd in too.
Yeah, he's quite correct. Yeah, he could have just said, "Here we go."
Yeah, at the least
this
here
way.
he can
see an
buy
extra
out his
card,
other
right?
dynasty cards, and if he
Scout.
feels he needs to save Gosho for next turn, he can leave him up to attack into the last province. But again, it comes down to, does he value that one province slot over the potential of seeing New Order? And it looks like he does.
Yeah, Gosho's still up there.
Yep.
He just pitched everything else.
Correct. Alright.
So he's going to go get his...
Attention off of our players. If
See
you
if he
have
gets-
a ticket for the 12 p.m. Siege event,
Aggressive.
an event ticket,
And
you need to
refill.
come forward
Another shot,
now. It
something.
is almost last call before we open up the wait list.
You don't have any more
I don't have
refills?
any more progressives.
Can you still resolve it, go look for something, and then refill it face up?
Don't know why not.
I think he can.
Yes,
yeah,
he can.
fail to find, and
He can
then
resolve the
refill it face
event.
up?
You can fail to find.
You're going to fail
Because of
fine
sensing?
because there's not any more left, and then,
Yep.
yeah, it'll still trigger.
Yeah, the resolution of the event
that's
is
the
not
action that you
contingent on
took, I
you finding
understand.
an
I'll
allegiance.
pass.
So. And there, finally the courtier he was looking for, but
Where have you been at all game is what he's saying.
Yeah,
I don't know,
exactly.
you don't have like 8 progressives in there. I mean, you could be cheating all day.
Game 2.
I don't know.
So he's going to gain 2 off.
I still don't have 1 gold open on my turn, so that's my failure as a person, and I'm sorry.
So my math says that George is going to be able to
I'll
cross.
go to Dynasty and see how
Sounds like a
This
solid
turn.
limited action.
2, 4,
there, which will put him at 40.
You gained 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
So you are at 42.
45.
45. Damn.
So you're saying lettuce? You were getting.
All right, fine.
He may
That
have used
puts
some
you out
other
of my
cards. He had
shameful and cowardly
the
rank.
Wookiee
Destin.
and the Honored Sensei buying the.
Okay.
The other final is Dragon versus Phoenix. And it looks like the Phoenix player just tied it up 1-1. He goes through a massive super units and the new order to get the win. So
Attention all of our players, that is 5 minutes left in the round for the pods. 5 minutes left.
Take card.
Alright, so this is not looking good for George with naval kill actions.
Attention all of our
spots on
players,
Isaac's
this is
side of the
last
board.
call. If you have
And
an
a Go Show to come in to increase
for the
force while
12
moving his
PM
last
Siege
presence. So
Clan War.
George is
Last
going to
call.
get one action with presence and then the progressive, and that seems like it might be it. Yes, Neff, it is a different build of Phoenix.
Yeah, he decided to. Apparently, he decided not to go with the fortification honor, so that
Your
he
first
would be a little more
engage,
protected against military
I
decks.
will declare naval.
And the blessing combination with Hero Sensei made it made it easy to kind of push Kabuki Theater Troop to make 3 for 3, so they weren't as bad when you weren't gaining honor off them, which you should be doing every turn. But sometimes you need the gold.
I'm out. I'm done. Can't take this anymore. I'm going home. I've been here since the beginning of the game, and I'm a subpar personality, but who cares?
Yeah, well, I think Cheeto more than earned his slot in this game.
Absolutely.
Just for the utility. Let's see if he Go Shows here, or chooses to use a ranged attack from the battle.
Range 4. I'm sorry, dude.
That's it. Yeah, unfortunately for George, Isaac saw the cards he needed early.
Attention all
George
of our
doesn't feel like
players,
enough
if you
personality to
have
really
event tickets
mount much of a
for the
defense.
12 p.m. Siege event, please
that's how
come
it goes
forward.
sometimes.
Event tickets for the 12 p.m. Siege event, please come forward.
Yep. Isaac stretching a bit. One more match to go.
This will be only the second Mantis deck making finals.
Yep. A couple years back, a Mantis Blitz deck lost in the
Put
finals.
him in here first. He couldn't
Yeah, I was rooting that one on from home.
Yep.
Oh, I'm done.
But
I'm done.
Lost to Kalima.
yes.
Good game.
Thanks.
Yes.
Oh my God, no.
Yes, I am confirming that in this matchup specifically, Cheeto did actually earn his spot in the deck.
Oh wait,
So,
wait,
go ahead
this
and,
game I
Tommy,
actually
for that
started
one,
with
Will.
like the worst personality in
And
my
rub
deck.
that one in my
Look,
face.
Are you winning, taking the bounty or not?
I need
Well,
money.
yeah, I mean, it makes perfect sense with their ability to be able to recur and gain more honor from their dead personalities.
Are you
Mantis
a
usually
Magic
chew
player?
those
Because I can-
decks up, but since they're able
I
to
can
recur
try
those
and
personalities
explain it,
and
but,
gain an extra honor
I
from
mean,
them,
the money is
it makes
because
it
my car blew
more
up on the way
difficult. So
here.
yeah, Cheetah did make a big difference.
Yeah, and another big quality of that is his send home isn't obviously from a strategy. So a lot of people running Brazen Disregard can't stop it. It's at naval, so you can do it navally in circumstances like this. And he's got the 8 gold for the standing fast like we were talking about.
So, George Homer wasn't even a god at the beginning, right? He got there by...
And you're not Josh, but that's okay.
No, I am not quite Josh.
And you know what
Can't be that quite awesome.
Would be like, hey, you did it. I want what you
He
got.
has won a few tournaments.
Yes, yes he has.
So,
So yeah, so the other match is still in game 3. It did start a little bit a while ago, so I'm not sure what the status of that one is. It probably should be over within a reasonable amount of time, but
Well, they called 5 minutes left in the round, so
yeah, so
you have
Like, I just love decks like each other. They gave me Siege.
Okay.
Really cool.
Just
And
gonna
card deck. I bought Siege.
Jim from American Pie, yes, thank you. Not quite, but I have heard that before.
As I mentioned earlier, Chris is on the design team now.
Yep.
You started the New Order is what I understand.
Yep. Partway through New Order, didn't do any actual
Attention,
design work
Carlos
for it. Did a lot of
Rentas,
like
please come to
play
the front
testing.
desk.
And
Carlos
then I did
Rentas,
first
please
my
come to the
actual
front
design
desk.
work with 20 festivals.
Okay. Is there any reprints you want to take credit for that were in that set?
Let's think back. It's been a while since we actually looked at it.
Oh, believe me, I understand.
I did a lot of the holdings that we were pulling through because a lot of them have some more like draft significance. So a lot of the holding sets that maybe see some constructed play on like a fringe level. A lot of those.
Attention Alpha
a lot of work
players,
trying
you
to
are
figure
now
out,
in the
older
15-minute
personalities that
extension
fit the
for your
themes that
pod.
we're going through.
15-minute
So,
extension has begun.
Choice ones. I know like a lot of the themes are on a little of a different side compared to what a lot of the clients have had. So there weren't quite personalities that fit exactly. So we had to do a lot of relatively new ones and new designs or kind of send-offs of previous characters that are more tweaked for the current costing guidelines and for what we wanted the themes to actually do.
Yeah.
To answer your question, Venom, we have specifics in each base set as we're doing of how many reprints versus how many new cards we want to do. So when we get to expansions, we kind of want to focus the story in that type of direction. So you may occasionally see cards that are similar to pre-existing cards, but if we're going to be doing reprints, we try to keep them in the base set. That way we can prevent people from being forced to buying cards with expansions that they already have. Looks like, according to Sabrar, Mantis made the finals in 2006, which I believe was around Lotus era.
Whatever, she might have a mind of a gamer there. It's genetic.
We're just gonna look it up real quick.
That's adorable.
It's been a long weekend, so.
Jordan's on the side? Okay.
Okay.
Yes, I took a break around that era, so I missed that one. So, yeah, if anyone has any other questions for me while we're here, like I said, I can talk about a little bit of the back end of design if anyone wants some questions.
Star Wars. Yeah. Oh, my buddy Sean bought out all the classic Star Wars. Nancy played your Star Wars game?
Yeah, so we try to do a mix. So if there's a card that fits the exact slot that we want it to, we'll reprint it, even if we have to like commission new art for it or something like that. But it makes it both easier and harder for collectors if they have at least some of the cards from previous times that they can reuse. But we're trying to avoid things like I believe it was Beloved of the Clan that they did, where it was almost exactly the same card with only a slight tweak. We can fix cards to make sure that like that sort of stuff doesn't happen.
Okay, so what I pulled up was an archive from what Zenfocus did. Now, I'm not talking about Gencon main event. I'm talking about World Championships. This will only be the second time that Mantis has been in the finals of the World Championship. 2011 was when Imperial
Attention
Governor...
Alpha Wild players, if you are in the 12 p.m. draft, please come forward. 12 p.m. draft.
The Imperial Governor, Danny Walker, was playing the Forgotten Temple Big Oni deck versus Nick Jones playing Mantis. Now, Mantis did make another finals at Gen Con, but it was after we switched to the format where we swapped from 1 year to the next, where you're always getting the Worlds and then we were getting Worlds back and forth. Mantis has been in two finals, but one was for North American Championships and one has been for World Championships. This is the World Championship list. This is what Zenfocus worked quite hard on for many years until he took a site down a couple of years ago and then it got lost to the Wayback Machine. So I had to port everything over to keep the record. So
at least it's out there still.
Attention all of our players. If you are in the
Yes, to
12
answer your
p.m.
question,
draft,
Nagashi,
please come forward. The
I was on the
gentleman
design
holding
team
the
for
box
Ivory, but I was on
will be
playtest.
moving over to one
So
of
one
the
of the
white
stated
tables
goals
to
was to
create
kind of
room.
rein it in a
You
little
may
bit
follow
from
him
where
over
Emperor
there.
Edition was. Obviously, Ivory Edition kind of pushed it down, so we're still getting a feel for it, still getting a feel for like where we want the power level. So as you'll notice, 20 festivals and the expansions of it are kind of trying to ratchet up in a kind of more of a controlled manner, get the game to a point where everyone's enjoying it, taking actions. You got actions on guys, everything like that. Well, we're still experimenting. We're still figuring out exactly where the competitive environment likes everything. But I think 20 festivals is continuing to step forward from Ivory Edition.
And it's going to have to be a slow ramp up. We've made those mistakes. You know, the mistakes have been made before. So.
Oh wait, are you gonna come back and do everything together, or?
Yeah. Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean the mistakes have been made before on too much power at some point. You know,
Yep.
Some people have liked a lot of the power. Some people are like, nah, this is not. Finding a good median is difficult.
Yes.
That doesn't matter what group you're after.
Yep. As for the Naga, they're going to be brought back, like we said, in Onyx Edition. So they're going to be treated as a faction there. So you haven't seen any Naga personalities yet, but we will be seeding them in future expansions and in ways to try to get them up to the same level. Because you're exactly right. They're behind basically a base set of personalities. So we had to find creative ways to work them in.
And I can tell you from being on playtest and Chris being on design, we talk a lot about Naga, Mantis, and because those are the two primary factions that you're currently over in.
Yes, yeah, we split it up on design where each design team member is responsible for 2 clans. So I'm responsible for Naga and Mantis, and again, we're just treating Mantis just like another clan, even though they're not going to have a stronghold. And yes, so I can't actually say what we're doing, but we spent effort to make sure that at the very least Naga has close, if not equal to the same amount of personalities as other clans come Onyx.
I can tell you that from the playtest standpoint, we've had a lot of fun with it. The abilities that's been come up with have been very flavorful for the faction. It really does feel Naga. It really does.
Yeah, and that was one of my overall goals with it is, yes, they're taking, I guess, technically the slot of Mantis by being the 9th faction in the game, but they're not just Mantis with another different color of green on their borders. They have their own unique characteristics. They have their own themes that maybe weren't played up as well as they were back in the day just because they weren't as competitive as you probably would have wanted. But by taking that sort of aspects of it, making sure everything's integrated together and everything feels Naga, you can come up with themes that are distinct to them and play very different from what other clans' themes would.
Yep. I know that they just recently added Jeff Williamson to the team.
Yep.
Jeff has been a very long-time player. Talk a little bit about what he's brought to the group.
We recently added actually 2 new design members,
Right.
Jeff and Brandon Snyder. It's been good because they brought in a kind of new, like, fresh blood. They have very specific ideas and everything. We didn't have someone that had played Crab or Lion on the team as it currently stood, so we got a better idea of kind of a connection to those player bases. Jeff in particular has more of a data background, so he does a lot of programming and connections and data analysis on his end. So we have a lot of stuff set up in playtests where we can track data and look at specific matchups and figure out percentage and things like that. But having him come in with that experience has enabled us to put even more of an emphasis on that. So we're constantly improving playtests, constantly improving the design and the verification process. So Jeff's done a good job of getting everything squared away there. And so we have it split out a little bit informally of each of the design team members have their own like specific duties on what we're doing. A lot of like like I have the draft aspect in addition to mine. Jeff's been doing some of the data. Jeremy Summerman, who's another member of the design team, is our kind of story team liaison, so he works with them and verifying our cards after we get the story information are still matching up and everything is working there. So, and then Julian Bowe is one of the other ones, also has some stuff on the back end that he takes care of. So we separation of duties on the design end, but working together as a whole cohesive team allows us to get a lot of different perspectives, and having Brandon and Jeff new to the team is actually helping with that too. Being a yes man to Brian is not a prerequisite. In fact, I have told him no on many occasions, and I have actually been able to overrule him on stuff, which is nice. But it's like I said, it's a team effort. Brandon coming on, Jeff coming on, they went through a whole interview process. We went through. There's a lot of really good candidates. It was really tough to narrow it down to those two. But it was not. One of the questions wasn't will you obey Reese at every time. So, in fact, it's actually fun to disagree with Reese a lot of the times because we can get into some fun, I guess, philosophical arguments about like what L5R means and everything like that, and how certain mechanics could go. So. Oh yes, so I mentioned on Strange Assembly podcasts talking about the Shadowlands trait and how, for the most part, it's been kind of a detriment. It is somewhat costed into personalities, so it does affect the cost of the personality in a way. But as you point out, there's a lot of cards in the environment that punish you for being Shadowlands for really kind of no good reason a lot of the time. So one of the things we're looking forward to, and especially as Shadowlands makes its presence known a little bit, as everyone knows from the Onyx storyline that's coming up, doing things that either encourage you to play Shadowlands stuff, reward you for having Shadowlands, which is absent right now, but it's stuff that should be coming in the future to make it less of a detriment and more of a little bit of play to it. So you can actually decide, well, this Shadowlands card's good. I want to actually run this because it has the Shadowlands trait versus, oh, well, I hope I don't run up against the guy that happened to put Shadowlands meta in his deck. Did Eddie Naga survive Heart of Darkness? Yes. So the Dark Naga and some of his main lieutenants went through everything they did with the Heart of Darkness storyline and all of those. But the Akasha was purified. So there's potential for later on for anything. Can't really say exactly if they're going to show up personality-wise or if it's going to be a story point, but it isn't something we're ignoring because, as you guys know, the Akasha, it maintains everything. So even if they were working for the Dark Naga or whatever was going on there, they always will have a chance to come back.
So we're waiting on the other match to finish. I just got a report from the floor that currently the Phoenix player still has all 4 provinces and is at 30 honor, and the Dragon Jim Chen has not flipped the new order yet. So they are in their 15-minute extension. So this game should be over with relatively soon, one way or the other.
Okay. Who are you guys rooting for talking the event? Well,
I think it's a little obvious.
Yes.
Mantis and Mantis, kind of hard.
I'm, as the designer, I'm hoping at some good games and everything. We're actually very happy that there was 6 different clans in the top 8 and 8 of the 9 clans in the top 16, which is showing that a good amount of balance in the environment, and especially since the one clan that didn't make the top 16 was Crab, who just won the Bride event.
So I just got a report that James Matthews is going to be the other finalist. He was playing Phoenix Honor, defeating Jim Chen in top 4. Chen had a very great run in this format, and playing a deck that I think a lot of people didn't think was viable. He was doing the Dragon Kensai build, which we haven't really seen a lot, at least making making it on stream during the season. So it was very nice to see a good build that he had gotten, and made a deep run in the tournament. Even beat Case Kiyonaga in the top 16. So
and he did get a game off of James in this top 4 match too. So
yeah,
clearly it's competitive. Obviously, when you make top 4 at Gencon, it's a good deck. So
Yeah,
It's nice to see that Dragon they had kind of lower numbers this Kote season. They did start to pick up near the end, but having 2 Dragon decks in the top 8 is a good sign. Any concern the Mantis player is talking about the bounty to name Yoritomo? Well, it would be almost fitting for a Mantis player to take that money, so I would have no problem if Isaac were to win and take that. I know James has his own storyline goals that he's been looking forward to, that he's been talking about in really excited manner, so we'll see if he ends up taking it down, what he ends up picking, but I think a Mantis player using it on Yoritomo would actually lead to a very interesting story. Obviously, who knows how it'll actually work out, because it's the story team's decision based on how everything goes down, but it would be very interesting. And from the sound of it, so apparently Jim was close to winning game 2, but the gold didn't work out for him, unfortunately. Sorry, Will, I already answered one of your questions. I'm not answering anymore. Even if they are coming from other people.
So is Will still in the building trolling us, or?
He's probably watching on his phone. I know he was watching it actually while he was over drafting. He actually had the event up too, but yeah, they're over doing a draft. I know they're doing some side constructed events and everything like that. So
Yep.
they're enjoying themselves while we have our last couple hours of Gen Con.
Somebody asked. Oh, that was the concern question.
Yes, just ignore anything from Abbott JW. Nice.
Nice.
All right.
So, there we go. So, it's good talking with you, Chris. I appreciate the help. We're actually going to do a swap out. I'm going to be staying in the booth for the finals. We're going to have Owen Burke, who helped the Sixth Ring when they did the World Championships last year. He's going to help out on stream the finals.
Right.
Good talking to you.
Yep, thanks, Brad. Catch everyone later.
Legend of the Five Rings players in the World Championship. We will be starting the finals in 10 minutes. We'll be starting the finals in 10 minutes.
We drove here and had a car blow up on the way. So now I'm out $15,000 car run.
I'm actually just going to sled it.
Where are you coming from?
New Mexico. And it blew up somewhere in Missouri, in a little town in Missouri. So now I'm like, and you know, insurance doesn't cover mechanical failure. So now I'm like, what's the highest bounty? I'll take. I don't care. I need the things. I'll make it work in my brain. And right now it's like stealing the power of your Tomo, and I'm like, I can make it work in my brain because I'll pick a Mantis guy and I'll be like, look, what Mantis would not want the power of the god? Like, just be like, you got
You're greedy bastards.
He ascended to godhood status through wheeling and dealing. Like, look, what you got, I want. So I'll pick a very ambitious Mantis and be like, nah, you got to godhood status once, you can do it again. I'll take yours now though. Open the scroll thing. What are scrolls? Okay, let me open it.
Oh no! I hit the sleep button. Huh?
What's the worst that could happen? I could die, but you know, the poets will write stories about me. Oh yeah,
It probably is. I think it's just... It's all right. That's not a
This
surprise, so
environment's
there'll be
been
a warning.
really a lot of fun. Like, I've been impressed. Every single game that I've had, like normally there's, you know, like a steamroller deck, like Kalima or something like that you can just be like, oh my god, like shit's just been rolling over. But to like all day today, all day yesterday, it's been like close games, like just. So we need an emergency room.
Okay.
That's just that.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get this a little louder for you guys.
Can I read here, Sensei?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks.
Have volume issues with that headset. That's what I'm understanding. They can't put your medical open crowd. They can. I can't.
Oh, that's kind of cool. I think I saw Mantis and read it had -1 province strength, and I was like, done with this thing.
Isaac's taking a look at Hero Sensei right now.
Says the guy playing Sheikah.
Observing it.
Okay, all right.
It's the event Sensei, so we'll see.
Do you have an open?
Yo.
Yeah, like I said, it's the event Sensei, so up to 6 times per game you can resolve events, and then when you resolve an event out of a province, you can refill it face up.
As you can see, George is running Absolution in his deck. He does not want to run into a specific event. The new order is really bad against it, especially against the bigger military decks where they haven't been able to deal with it early.
That's a start
Well
from
then,
Isaac.
Hello.
It'd be like that.
It's like that, and like this, and like that, and
That's one of the strengths of the Sheikah deck. You can afford to easily run Coastal Lane because you're getting so much extra cycle
per game
out of
goal?
the Sensei that the extra 6 cards in your deck blow through relatively quickly, and the explosiveness of being able to buy 8 gold worth of holdings on turn 1 like Isaac just did means all those giant attachments that I was talking about are going to be a lot easier for him to buy.
you guys need little shoulder pads so that you can see fake ones.
Resolve the event.
Or like little clear glass,
We have, Samurai Case divides on George's side. Go and fetch.
his fate hand is filled with progressive. That means he has at least 2 copies of that stupid discard card that I hate that has 3 focus value, even though one of its printings has 2 in his fate hand.
Isaac is speaking, of course, of Path of Wisdom.
Yep.
He will send you home all game. You will be at the house, you will stay there, you will like it.
And charges.
Open. Flip.
Did you resolve it? Sorry?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I won. That's why you cut.
Do you need cards from your or events from your discard back in your dynasty? I was just wondering if you could leave it in play, because otherwise I'll forget about it.
Oh, it resolves and goes away.
Oh, does it? Okay.
I just go to get progressive.
Oh,
and then
sorry.
There's no ongoing effect.
For whatever reason, I thought it was the karmic one or something.
No.
I'm done. All right, continue. Just kidding. This is when you act dumb because you're on a stream.
And George,
It's alright, Isaac. Still love you.
It's always my fear.
so
Right?
so George is running the full amount of events that he can with the Cynova.
What's your name? George Bishop. George. Alan. Nice to meet you. Alan? Yeah. Nice to meet you. I thought I could get through with avoiding this thing, but I thought I could get through this with avoiding this thing.
Right? It's my first time on the stream too, so I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
It's been walking past it. I'm not doing it.
And it has a microphone, so I'm
Alright, how you guys doing?
good.
All right.
A few things while we're getting set up. I've adjusted completely to his map, so if you stay in the same width areas of his map,
Okay.
it would be great.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. This microphone is live. They pick up your words very clearly. So don't say anything you don't want people to hear. Pretty simple. But also on that note, after an honor loss or an honor game, if you would state your ending result total out loud, like game 3 to go to 10, it'd be awesome. So we can update it on the screen.
Okay.
Alright?
Okay.
Good luck, guys.
Thank you. Yeah.
Just go. I'll be up.
Trying to get it out of my system. Normally I'm very loquacious. Just trying to mercenary the crap out of this tournament.
Do my best.
Decisions.
Attention all players, if you have a Siege Clan War event ticket for the 11 a.m. Siege, please come forward. We're also still taking sign-ups for the 20 Festival Arc Yoritomo 20th Anniversary Playmat, also for the job.
You want the Mantis one? Absolutely.
Shouldn't be any issues.
We'll be getting going in just about 2 minutes, guys. I will have the official round time. If you guys need it, come and grab me. I can take care of it.
Okay, guys, welcome back. We've got a special guest in the booth with me. I've got Chris Medico, who is both a well-known Mantis player and part of the design team now.
Hello, everyone.
We're going to be commentating on the semi-final match here between George Bishop
Actually,
playing
I'll
Phoenix
just keep it
and
over there.
Isaac Cynova playing Mantis. I understand that Isaac's deck is very interesting.
Carry the dice bag
it's
with
not
me
the,
'cause it's
it's
brilliant,
not the
but,
exact
like,
standard
this is all I
Shikai
want
Mantis
to
deck
do,
that we're
so.
used to.
Yeah, it's I went a
There
little
was
bit
one
on the
company like
larger side,
5
just
years
kind
ago
of
that came with
adjustments
these,
to the environment.
and it stands on its own because of the
standing
formation,
grass
and it's got a light interior so that you can like see what dice you want to grab.
So
The guy was explaining it to me here at Gencon, and I was like, oh my god, that's brilliant. And it was like a $15 dice bag, so it's expensive, but I was like, okay, you know, I'm at Gencon, I'll get it.
set than
that company's gone. Like,
Attention up of our players in the top 4 of the pods. You may begin.
Good luck.
good luck.
Don't choke first.
Oh.